Tactical Thoughts Hurt, where we think so you don't have to. And now, your robot overlords.
Alright, here we go with episode 4 of Tactical Thoughts Hurt. I'm Mr. J, and this is Chaos Cube, and, well, as we said on the Facebook post, we're going to start this off by talking about the Infinity War trailer.
Oh my god, it was awesome.
I really loved it. Some of the things were things that you knew were going to come, right? Mm-hmm. Like Loki handing off the Tesseract. You knew that was going to happen.
There's a lot of dead people. Lots of dead Asgardians. If not all of them are dead.
Well, I mean, Hela kind of saw to that. Well, and then Thanos' ship shows up at the end of Thor Ragnarok, right? So, yeah. And then, obviously, Thor gets picked up by the Guardians of the Galaxy. That was kind of foreseeable. The ripping out of the Mind Stone from Vision's head.
Yeah, he's dead.
I mean, well, and you had to know that had to happen because for all to take place, he needs all the stones.
Yep.
So...
Poor Vision.
Yeah.
What'd you think of Iron Suit Spider-Man?
Yeah, I thought it was cool. I mean, it was one of those quick on-the-screen things. Now, I was interested in that I didn't see any Ant-Man. He wasn't there in the preview.
I didn't see Ant-Man either.
But he's in, like, the magazine pictures and everything, so you know he's going to make an appearance.
He'll probably show up, but I think a lot of guys are going to get killed off, I think.
Well, and that's kind of their plan, I think. So... before we move to that, I did want to say that I think coolly about this trailer that they didn't give away anything that you didn't already know was coming. You know what I mean? They showed you some cool stuff. They showed you, a bunch of people running into battle.
Right, they showed us lots of running into battle.
But they didn't show us any plot points, and trailers are notoriously bad about this.
They notoriously are, but in that scene where we saw Iron Man, like, did it look like he was crying or something?
Yeah.
The only thing I can think of that would cause him to do that is if Spider-Man dies. Because Spider-Man is like a son to him.
I think it could be any number of people because, like, he softened up a lot after Iron Man 3 and then throughout the Avengers stuff. So, I mean, that's the whole reason why he kind of did grow a soft spot for Peter Parker. So it could be that. It could be...
Or just Peter Parker gets beaten really badly.
Yeah.
And then what's Iron Man going to do? He's going to show up in a Hulkbuster outfit to beat up Thanos.
But... Oh, and Thanos showing up without his hat. Okay, so that's been widely made fun of on Reddit.
Yes, that's the hillbilly from outer space now.
But, and I did see one meme.
He just needs a trucker hat.
I did see one meme where they turned him into, Homer Simpson holding a donut. It was hilarious. But I do... So, Marvel has about 20 movies ramp up toward Infinity War, right? And it's going to be a 2-movie set. And I think you said earlier that they had maybe leaked the name of the second film. Infinity War for the first one.
And then the next one's going to be Infinity Gauntlet.
Which makes sense because the Infinity Gauntlet
is what
graphic
holds all
novel, was what had that story in it back in the day. But if you think about it, they said they also have 20 more films planned for after Infinity War.
Which I'm like, oh, you guys have been building up to Infinity War. What's next after that?
But some of these actors' contracts are coming to an end, things like that. So it's going to be a question of who survives these 2 films and who new shows up and who comes into the fold. So I think we're going to see a big shift in the MCU from
to newer characters.
And some will retain, but I think some will fall off and some will get killed off.
Right, they'll just show up for like little maybe they'll show up for little cameos or something, but you won't see much of them anymore.
And then there'll be a rise of new heroes in, I guess, what they're calling Phase 4. Now,
I
don't really
They've called it Phase 4, so...
I don't really know what their demarcation lines are for phases, but, I mean, it's been a cool ramp-up since Iron Man 1 to get all this done. So I think it's great. And they've been showing us Thanos since, what, the end of the first Avengers film?
When did it... Was it the first Avengers film?
Wasn't that where Loki goes to him at the end of Avengers 1? Was that what it was? I'm gonna get smacked by people for not knowing this.
There's been so many now, I can't remember when Thanos first showed his face.
But yeah, so they've been hitting at this for so long, and then you first see Infinity Stones talked about in the first Guardian of the Galaxy. So this is this big event. So this is kind of like the I think before Infinity War and after Infinity War will be the BC and AD of timeline within the MCU.
Mm-hmm.
And they are proving to us that you don't have to CGI the facial hair off your heroes.
Yes, bearded Captain America for the win, and CGI Superman for the fail.
Yes, God, that throws me off. Like, leave the mustache on. Unless it's a big handlebar job, just leave it on.
Just leave it on.
Oh, my God.
If you're going to CGI, just CGI. You should have CGI'd a whole beard on his face. Like he grew hair while he was dead or something.
Yeah, you know, I wonder that because, like, he was contractually obligated to another film or another TV show to keep his mustache, but could he have grown a beard on top of it for this? Like, that would have been kind of cool. Of course,
They could have just make-upped one on his face.
Of course, then again, how are they going to, explain that he would have grown it while dead?
How did he not rot while dead?
Well, no. Well, so they explained that though. They did talk about how that the Kryptonians, they don't decay like us on this planet.
More Superman OP power.
Yeah. Okay. So that character being what it is, but yeah. So they did explain that, which is why Zod was the way he was when they brought him back into that monstrosity in Batman v Superman.
In Zombie Zod.
In Zombie Zod. But yeah. So
I want to see what the Hulk's going to do to Thanos. That's going to be fun to watch.
You know what? There's been very little. There was very little of that in the trailer. Of course, there was very little of any one character in the trailer.
There's very little.
There's so many.
I think Iron Man got the most. I think
screen time.
Yes.
Well, he is Robert Downey Jr. So there's
yeah.
that. But speaking of all the memes that have been floating around,
how the internet has been running their meme jihad.
Yes, EA being the latest victim.
They way to make the internet not just hate you, losing $3.5 billion in stock.
Yeah, so their stock price has tanked, I think they said over 12% in the last, since the release of Battlefront 2. And it's devalued the stock by a grand total of about $3 billion. But year over year, so if you look at this time last year, they're still up 35% from where they were last year. So they're not like in this horrible spot, but it is bad from a fan perspective.
Oh, it's bad from a stock market perspective. If you lose $3 billion overnight, it's kind of like,
Now, they are still telling the market that their guidance for the year is still solid, that they're okay. And I think they're banking on the following they have in the sports games because those things are still doing well.
Right, but I think Darth Disney's probably going to rip that Star Wars license from them.
Yeah.
Especially with their movie right around the corner. They're just going to be like, nope, we're going to...
Yeah, the last thing Disney wanted was bad Star Wars press right before
the next movie hits.
Yeah, but it'll be interesting to see if they take the license away, how EA recovers. And I don't think they're going to lose any ground with the sports fans because they're used to having to pay through the nose for sports teams. I mean, that if you look at all the dirty dealings that sports teams do, even in college.
Yeah, the sports fans are just going to keep buying the game and taking it up the rear.
And pay to win. Yay! That's what we do in sports anyway.
Yep.
So back to Star Wars. That we looked at some few shorts, and you showed me a trailer for Last Jedi that I hadn't seen yet.
Yeah, the Let Them Win trailer.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. And
there was a trailer that also had Rey saying to Luke, what was it? She said, "Rin failed you, I won't."
Okay.
And so I'm wondering if Rey's just going to spend the whole movie. Well, she doesn't spend the whole movie on the planet because we've seen scenes of her somewhere.
No, and I think they're gonna. But I think we've seen some key things with Mark Hamill and her, right? Which is cool. I think between Rey and Luke, there's going to be some delving in, like that Temptation video that's up, or Tempt, or something like that. It's up on Star Wars' YouTube page, and it's a really cool little scene where he's telling her to fight it, and because she's like, "Oh, something's reaching for me through the Force."
He's telling her to resist it.
Yeah.
What? Resist what? Lord Schnoo Schnoo or
It's Gollum, damn it.
Gollum, Lord Gollum.
It kind of looks like, it's Andy Serkis who played Gollum. So
It is. It gives us the one Force, precious.
His precious is now a lightsaber. But
His lightsaber's his precious. Wouldn't that make every man a golem?
But and you get to see Kylo flying that new TIE silencer.
Supersize me TIE interceptor.
Yeah, which is cool looking, and we got to see a preview of it from Fantasy Flight on for the X-wing game, and it looks pretty cool. I saw one of the pilot cards. I didn't get a good look at any of the others, but one of the pilot cards gives you this cool ability to where if it's obstructed, if your shot is obstructed, you get to lower their defense dice by 2 to a minimum of 0.
Yep.
So it'll make it worth it to shoot through asteroids.
It's gonna be kind of. I think it's gonna be fun, but I'm gonna have to get me a couple of those and make a new TIE interceptor swarm of TIE silencers.
Well, and the pilot I saw was 31 points, so it'll you're not gonna be able to get a big swarm out of this. But it's a beefy boat. It's got as much hit points and striking power as a TIE Defender. Mm-hmm. And I didn't see any cannon upgrades on the one I looked at. I saw elite pilot sensors and computer upgrades. But, we'll see what they come out with. But it's got boost and barrel roll, target lock, and focus, of course, right on the action bar. Mm-hmm. So it'll be a fun plane to fly around, and it's beefy.
It's a big model, too.
Yeah.
I think it's the largest small base plane they've made.
And it's pretty, though. Mm-hmm. And they also are releasing that new bomber for the Resistance.
Yeah, the what was it,
BBF-17 or BBF-17 or something?
BBF-7.
Basically, it's a B-17.
B-17. It's like, really? You guys couldn't come up with a better name?
It's like you
B-17?
ripped one wing off a B-17 and took the one wing that's left and aimed it down.
Yep, it's like, really?
But they're kind of going off the B-wing's basic shape. And
kind of. I mean, it looks really weird for a B-wing.
But it's still that same, you got your flight
right,
pod, and then you've got the
fuselage
wing
and wing shape
going down right underneath you. So, and I don't think it's going to do that flippy thing that the B-wing does.
I don't think it's going to do that.
But so it probably won't be as agile, but it's cool because it looks like it's got a 360 turret and the ability to fire bombs forward.
Right.
Which we'll see if it allows it, because since they started adding that mechanic to some ships where you can do a dead stop, or with the quad jumper you can go backwards, what that'll do with the forward bombing. Or they'll let you put it way out in front of you maybe. I haven't seen the card or know what the mechanic looks like for that new forward throwing of bombs, but, well, I mean, it'll be cool.
It will be. I think it'll be awesome.
But, so, moving on from Star Wars over to Star Trek, you brought in your Star Trek Adventures book, which is a role-playing game.
And I have been loving the crap out of it.
I haven't played it, so please do tell.
It's based off of the Modifius Entertainment's their RP system, and it's a very RP heavy sort of role playing system. I like it more than the Star Wars RP Fantasy Flight system.
That's saying something because I really like that system.
And I do too, but this is for RPers. This is great. There's so many mechanics in here that help you better play your character and build your character. And
so, is it about background building or driving story?
Oh, you can. There's background mechanics in here from the cradle almost to when the game actually starts. So everything from when you're born to
2 years ago, I was aboard the whatever. And
yes, you'll have life events where it's like, oh well, your ship was blown up from underneath you, and there are options in there that you can take that says how your character can react to that sort of situation.
Is it class based or skill? But do you have a character class, or are you just more like a collection of skills and?
It's profession based a little bit more because they don't
so
you have sense. Your engineering, you have your security, and then you've got your science, and then
what classes did you take at Starfleet Academy?
Exactly. It's like, well, what was your major and what was your minor in?
Oh, okay.
Because they treat Starfleet Academy kind of like a college. It's like, well, my major was in command and my minor was in medicine, so that affects my character in these stats, and then my other stats are kind of crap. And then there's focuses, which are kind of like what you're good at, like warp field dynamics and things like that. So they help you with certain situations that come up.
It basically helps you. Well, I mean, that makes sense from building a Starfleet officer kind of thing, right? what were your aptitudes and what did you really go for in Starfleet Academy, and then what since then has shaped you in your career?
Right. What has shaped this character's background, his attitudes, and all kinds of things.
Now, do they expect all PCs to be members of Starfleet or in this game, or can you be a Klingon? Can you be?
They have rules in here for playing. All the races that they give in here, you can play as a Starfleet officer. So, like, I could play as a Borg person who's been liberated from being a Borg, and now you're working in Starfleet, or you can play a Klingon. They've got rules for that in here. And it wouldn't be hard to just take the characters out of Starfleet. Say, okay, well, you guys were all Starfleet officers, but now you're just regular Joe Schmoes walking around or something. It's very, very easy to change and modify this system.
Right. Okay. Cool.
And character progression, instead of being vertical, kind of like your classic 1 through 20, instead you have linear progression, how your character develops.
Right.
Your character's arc, where does he go?
It's more like a series of choices than just a slew. I guess it's more history based. Like you are a person walking through your life and you make branches at certain points.
Like my captain just had to deal with a situation where he has to work on overcoming his PTSD because he was in a war between the Federation and the Klingons, and now he's got a Klingon member part of the crew, and he's like, well, how do I
come to grips with that?
How do I come to grips with a Klingon on my ship? Because 5 minutes ago I was just blowing the crap out of them, and I'd lost a bunch of friends and family. How do I move forward?
Well, Picard would tell you to suck it up because you're a Starfleet officer.
Well, that's what I tell my crew. But I mean, you see that in what was it? Star Trek movie, First Contact. Where remember he had PTSD with the Borg.
From the Borg. Oh yeah, in a big way.
In a big way, and part of him was, he finally came to terms with it when I can't remember the chick's name. She's like called him Captain. No, she called him Captain Ahab. The black chick.
Where from 21st century or 21st century Earth. When they go down there and she has no idea that this stuff is because it's in the past, and she calls him Captain Ahab because she can see that he's obsessed.
He's obsessed with it, and he comes to a realization that he's messing up, and then I didn't intend my character to go that way. The DM was like, "Oh, you were in a war with the Klingon. Okay, here you go." And I'm just like, "Well, my character would have PTSD, so now how do I deal with this?"
Okay.
And I evilly looked at my DM as he's throwing me a curveball.
But see, a good DM should create moments for your character traits to shine through, right? And I say DM, I know it's not D&D, but GM, it's
the same thing.
It's a habit. All right. So before we wrap up, I really wanted to kind of take a minute to touch on this whole net neutrality thing. The FCC is going to be voting this month. I think right around the time
it's
Star
December
Wars comes
14th.
Yeah, the day before Star Wars.
They literally they announced they were going to do it the Thanksgiving Day.
Yeah.
And they're going to vote just before Star Wars hits. They are shady stuff.
Yes.
You thought the internet exploded when EA messed up with Battlefront 2. Just wait till you see their reaction if the FCC rolls back net neutrality.
Right.
The internet will be...
The problem is I don't think a lot of people know what it is and what it means. And there's been no hype about it. You don't see it everywhere because all the big networks, they want it there.
Oh, they want it.
Especially the cable companies.
The only places I see people talking about it are in the skeptic community on YouTube and in places around the internet like 4chan and stuff.
But I see it flying around Facebook too. From a lot of the people that do know, trying to broaden awareness, because I don't think. Okay, so the argument against net neutrality from some of the big corporations is like, well, we don't want to overregulate this industry, and we want to basically what they want to do is generate spending.
Right, they will use that power to milk you for money. You want YouTube? Oh well, you're gonna have to pay extra for this YouTube package.
They want to turn it into like your cable service, to where it's like, yeah, you're paying for the internet, but for an extra $5.99 a month, we'll give you access to Google, Facebook, we'll give you the social media package. Oh, wait, now you want the streaming video package? That's another thing.
And they'll throttle competitors. They're
Right.
like, oh, well, we don't want you using their service, so we'll throttle down how much data you get from that competitor.
Exactly. And then the other half of that thing, so let's take Netflix. So they're going to charge us for like maybe the streaming video package, right? But they're also going to charge content creators and providers to run their stuff, just like the cable world. So they're going to charge Netflix, which I'm already paying Netflix for a membership. So that means Netflix's prices are going to go up. Plus my price to my ISP is going to go way up. They're double dipping. Mm-hmm. This is allowing the ISPs to double dip, and it's going to put money in the pockets of infrastructure providers and ISPs for nothing better than you already have.
Oh, it'll get worse.
And the internet isn't built. So the internet is a global network. It isn't regulated by the FCC, right?
No.
So all they're going to be able to deregulate, let's say, are the ISPs
in America.
And they'll control your on-ramp to the internet. But here's the downside. The internet's structure, now as a network engineer, right? Mm-hmm. The internet's structure is one of openness. It's one where if you're sitting there, no one can say what services you offer as a server on the internet right now because no one cares. They're all the same. But if we start making these lanes, I think it opens up a whole new black market. And I will add, and if they do repeal net neutrality, I will advocate for this black market. Because let's say I don't have the streaming video package, but I have some type of general package, right? So I'll let you open up an HTTPS tunnel to me, and then I have every package in the world. If you just pay me, $1, right? Just $1. I don't care because I can get it from a million people. And then I'll let you tunnel through me to another service. Proxies are a thing.
Yeah, they're going to try and police this, and
it's going to open up a new black market. So that means the ISPs are going to have to spend even more and charge us even more so that they can fund fighting off black market data tunneling.
Right.
And on top of that, most applications today tunnel everything through SSL, through HTTPS, right? Because it's an encrypted, certificate trust-based protocol. Now, if they want to start really policing, not just based on destination, because right now, if I'm running an HTTPS session to my bank, the only way they know I'm talking to my bank is the destination IP. But if I'm going through a proxy, then they can't tell that. So if they wanted to see what I'm doing and really fight that battle, they would have to then force me to accept a SSL decrypt trust certificate so that they could basically break my protocol. And yes, if they do that, they'll be able to see all your bank transactions.
Yes, they'll be able to see everything.
Yeah, so and that breaks the SSL protocol from the ground up. It breaks what it's there for. It's there to protect us. I mean, on the one hand, we're getting smarter and smarter smartphones that have more and more security features that don't allow things to be pushed to us automatically. But then, the FCC is basically it started with this new guy rose to president of the FCC. Mm-hmm. Now they want to say, well, let's basically police the internet and take your personal choice away, essentially.
I think the internet, you'll see the internet's just going to explode. Everything is just going to get out of hand.
So I would, for
everyone uses the internet.
Right. And for anyone out there who cares about this kind of thing and who is a voter, tell everyone, it's like, by the way, when you're appointing people to the FCC, if you don't go for net neutrality, I will vote you out of office. I think there was a poll that's like 80% Democrats, 78% Republicans are for net neutrality. So it's not a left versus right thing. This is we want net neutrality and it's going to stay. And if it doesn't, well, we're voting you out. This is it's if you're a user of the internet, this can do you no good. Now the proponents of repealing net neutrality will tell you that it will help improve because basically they're saying if you dump more money in our industry, we'll make the service better. But you're not, because the content providers are who's giving us what we want, not the ISPs. All we need from you is a big pipe and shut up.
All we need is just faster speeds.
Yes.
Go away. That's all I want from you is a faster speed.
That way I can do more streams per hour. But, okay. Well, we'll go ahead and wrap this rant up now.
Yeah, we kind of ranted there.
But it's an important topic. It's one that matters to me. I mean, as a network engineer, a network security specialist, and as a user, and now a content provider on the internet. It hits many sides for me.
As an online gamer, for me, how's that going to affect me?
Right.
Well, you have I'm sorry, Comcast doesn't carry the Star Citizen internet package.
Right. You can only get EA games.
It's like, well, then I'm just going to cut the cable completely.
Right. No, that was my first my knee-jerk reaction was, if they do that, I'm just cutting off my internet service and calling it good. I'll just use my cell phone through cellular data, and if they overcharge that, then I'll just shut the whole dang thing off, and I'll have to go into the office to get email. I mean...
Mm-hmm. It's going to be interesting to see what happens. I have a feeling that on December 14th, net neutrality is going to get repealed because there's
too much money on the table.
Right, and there's 3 conservatives on that board as opposed to the 2 Democrats on the board.
Well,
and
I don't think the president it's a left and right thing, but
I don't either.
Money.
I don't think Trump knew when he put the guy up there because
I don't think he knows his left hand from his right hand.
Well, sometimes he doesn't, but sometimes, man, he makes some funny. That man sometimes does some funny ththings on the internet that makes the other some people just scream, and I love it.
Maybe they need to put him in a special channel.
Did you see the thing where one of the British Labour members was like, if President Trump comes here, we're going to arrest him because he did a mean tweet. You can't
arrest somebody for a mean tweet?
Oh, in England you can.
Really?
Yes.
Oh.
And they were like, oh, if he comes here, he's gonna get arrested. And it's like, then the British Prime Minister was like, said, no, we're not going to arrest him if he comes here. But what he did was very mean. You want to know what the tweet was?
No, what?
All it was he retweeted a video that shows some ISIS guys throwing gay people off of a roof and killing them and saying, that's all he did, and it's just like, this is bad. It's just.
Oh, were they saying it was in poor taste because it was graphic?
No, they're saying it was anti-Muslim because it's a video.
Okay, I haven't seen it.
It's pretty hypocrisy wanting to arrest somebody for showing truth.
Oh boy. Well.
But enough about this rant.
But yeah, so if you want to add to the rant, throw your 2 cents in, hit us up on Facebook or on my Twitter at JamesC137. All right, everybody have a good one.
Bye.